All right, so Bonafide Hustler here.
Raking Profit.
College Picker.
Retro Aficionado.
All right, so what's going on, guys? This is Chris, the Bonafide Hustler, and I'm coming to you live from the inside of my office here in Austin, Texas. Welcome to the Green Room Hangout number 53. And today's Hangout, we're going to interview Dallas Moore, who is down below. I flip stuff that I find from garage sales, estate sales, yard sales, flea markets, swap meets, pawn shops. And I put it on places like eBay, Craigslist, Amazon, and my antique booth. That's who I am. I'm also the author of a book called Flip That. Shh, we won't say that name. And I also just released Bikes to Bucks last Friday. It's available to purchase. The link will be also in the description momentarily. All right, and that's who I am. I'll pass it to Raking Profit.
Thanks, man. What's going on, everybody? My name's Steve, or Raking Profit, if you want to call me that. I live in Connecticut. Quit my job about two and a half years ago, and went full-time as a reseller, entrepreneur, a bunch of things, eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, Kindle, all that good stuff. And, yeah, I'm going to pass it off to my main man, Yong.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Young. I live in San Jose, California, and do eBay, Amazon, FBA, a little Etsy, antique booth, Craigslist. Any way you can make money, I've probably done it. CP.
My name's College Picker. I'm actually finishing up this year's work cycle in 2 weeks. So I've been part-time pharmacist this year, and I'm going to be retiring for the rest of this year in 2 weeks. I'll be able to focus more on some other things like Amazon, mostly Amazon and Etsy right now. But that's boring. Let's talk about Dallas.
I'm Dallas. I have a YouTube channel, Dallas Moore, and a Facebook group that I kind of share with, Picking Live. I saw on eBay, I saw on Amazon, sell local auctions. We do estate buyouts. We do a little bit of everything, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
Of course. Well, thank you for showing up to the Green Room Hangout number 53. This should be an action-packed show. And Dallas, we're going to be asking you questions not only from us, but also from people in the YouTube feed. So if you guys are watching this live right now and you're on YouTube, if you look down below, there's a comment section. You can put your comments there, and we will make sure to ask Dallas those questions as we get along with the show. If you don't get your question if we don't ask your question on the show, it could be because the feed is just traveling so fast, and that's happened before. So just keep asking your questions. You can put it in capital letters, and we're bound to see it at some point in the show. Now, we will give precedence to the people in the green room that have wanted to ask you questions, Dallas. And you've been a quite an inspiring kind of person to certain members in the green room, so we definitely want to get their questions asked pretty soon here. So, Dallas, and first of all, how did the name Dallas Moore come about? Let's ask you that real quick.
Well, that's my real name. My dad is a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, and I was named after the Dallas Cowboys. And I grew up in just north of Dallas, and so there's nothing special about the name. It's just my real name, and I am who I am.
That's cool, man. And so you still live in Texas, but you don't live close to Dallas anymore, right?
No, I live about 3 hours east of Dallas in East Texas, about an hour west of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, cool. Do you get all that bad weather, like the humidity and everything, or no?
A little bit. It's not like Houston humid, but it's a little bit. We have a lot of trees, so we get a lot of mosquitoes and bugs and stuff like that. But I love it here. I don't think I'll ever move anywhere else. I really like it here.
It can't be as bad as Rakin's situation, where you have, 18 inches of snow outside your doorstep, something like that? Crazy amount of snow?
Yeah, I guess you did.
All right. So, Rakin, let's go shout some people. I'll let you handle that. Hey, Rakin, let's shout some people out that are in the feed right now. And there are a lot of people very pumped up to talk to you, Dallas. So we want to make sure we recognize some of the people that are showing up here, about to give up an hour of their Tuesday night. Rakin, you ready?
Yeah. It looks like we got Ronnie with Hearts Pickers in the comments. Says, "What's up, everybody?" We got Walking Picker. He's got a show. I know Young was just on that show the other day. Check that out. We got our main man Dan Mack watching from Europe. You guys, Europe is in the house right now in the green room. We got Ostex Picker. I believe that's Jim. He's in the green room. Murray Hustle. Hey, Chris, who's Hustle Hacks?
Hustler Hacks. Oh, that's Glenn. That's the main. That's the main graphic boy right there. So he's done the cover of my guide as well as
Yep.
logo creation for Adam Wacker, a bunch of other people, and he did your YouTube your YouTube background, maybe your Facebook background as well, Rick, and something like that.
Yep.
He's the graphic genius, guys. If you guys really want to check out some good graphics and start building up your own guide or whatever, he's the guy to go with. Anyway, I won't stop you, Rick, and go ahead.
Yeah, we got someone, FritzG777. What's up? First time watching live, so we appreciate that. We got Green Room member Sean Treens in the House representing, picking up the pace. Got off work a little early to watch. This is the interview I've most wanted to see since the Green Room started these hangouts. So that's cool. We got ComfortZoneStudio.com. School is back in session, and I, for one, am ready to learn. Bring it on. So, we got Dallas, our teacher in the class today, so he'll be helping you out, Comfort Zone. Morris Better, Cool Toads, Patrick Henry, Digger Tex. And we got a lot of people in here. Jason, Grind and Resale, the Ham and Jam Show. I mean, this comment section is blowing up like none other before. So I think we should just jump right into it because there's a lot of questions coming in.
Let's do it. Dallas, are you ready for Question Mania?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Dusting off his hands. Here we go. All right, so this is going to come out of the green room right now. We have a person who admittedly was like, I'm kind of a fangirl in this situation because Dallas has helped me, in reselling with my life and getting things together. So, you should feel very proud of that, Dallas. Is your videos are going across the country and back, and people are taking your advice and making you're putting money on other people's table across across everywhere in the country. All right, so I lost my train of thought there, but let's go into this question bundle right here that Craig Morris is asking. So question number 1, especially with your new little one, how do you balance work life with family life?
It's hard. The hardest part for me is I want to be with my new little baby like all the time, and I know that I've got to pay my bills. This is how I make a living. How my wife works, does this full time. This is our only income, so we have to continue to do this. But I don't remember what book it was, but I listened to a lot of books on CD, and I was listening to one about being a new dad, and they said that instincts for dads are to go out and work harder to support your family, and instincts for mom is to take care of the baby and do all that type of stuff. And I can tell you, I really feel that way. I mean, I'm up here at my shop right now at 8 o'clock at night, and I've been working up until about 15 minutes ago when I jumped on with you guys. But I make sure I set some time away every week to spend some time with it and with Ainsley. And when I get home at night, I sit down and rock her and give her last bottle of the night, and make sure I make time to spend with her. And she's up here all day too with my wife, so I get to spend a lot of time with her.
Cool. Well, that's good, and definitely, I know I speak on behalf of the entire staff here. Thank you so much for staying late and at least doing this, this last interview of your night. It sounds like so. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. I enjoy what you guys do, and I'm glad I can help support it a little bit.
Cool, of course. So Craig Morris, he admittedly said he was a fangirl. Said question number 2, from sourcing to shipping and beyond, what are some ways to make the FBA process more efficient?
Well, I think the key to FBA is you got to limit the number of times that you're touching your product. So if you're in the store and you can use the Amazon app and start a plan right there when you're buying stuff, and then it gets back here, and the least times you can touch it is the key to anything that you're doing. I'm not doing a whole lot of online or retail arbitrage anymore. I think that kind of play's been played out a little bit. I'm doing a lot more bundles and a lot more of that type of stuff, my own private label products. But I know, especially during the fourth quarter, how important it was for me. I mean, I'm sitting in the parking lot, or I'm sitting in line waiting to check out, and I'm peeling off price tags on stuff, just trying to get a head start. But the least number of times you can touch the product. So I'm a big believer in process. So when you're sitting down, think about all the times that you're touching that product, from when you buy it, when you bring it into your garage, your house, your warehouse, wherever you're storing the product, taking price tags off, putting stickers on them, whatever you're doing. How many times are you touching that product, and how many times can you stop touching it and do it all in one process?
Cool. I actually talk about that exact thing in my Put That You Know What book. But that's cool. Yeah, kind of. I act like I go by the factory example. If you act like a factory and you do certain things all at once, like you scan everything all at once, you put it in a box all at once, you're labeling all at once, like all the things that are all at once. The more times you can get repetitive, the more muscle memory you build, and the more brain memory. I guess that's, I don't know. The more that you can just assimilate and go, okay, I know this happens next, and everything, you go much faster. But that's cool. You said
a lot on like lean manufacturing.
Right.
And lean manufacturing processes, any one person shouldn't touch a product more than, or do 6 tasks at one time. So I try to, emulate that in everything I do. If it's eBay, Amazon, anything I'm doing, I mean, we're sitting down, we're taking pictures. I want to make sure that they can do it in 6 tasks. When we're sitting down, we're listing stuff on eBay. I want to make sure that their part, the one that they're doing, is at least 6 steps or less. And I think that, if you can think about it that way and try to figure out ways to do it and bring other things that are working. I mean, lean manufacturing is a huge thing going on right now in, real life manufacturing. And if you can bring that into your little business, it's only going to make you better.
Okay, cool. We're going to shift over to the YouTube comments because I did find another green rumor in there asking questions from Ostex Picker. Hey Dallas, you mentioned estate buyouts. Any particular items you are looking for?
I try to find stuff that I can ship. This last 2 estates I've bought out have had a lot of furniture in them, so I send those to local auctions. But I like to sell stuff on eBay. I like to bring it from a local market to a worldwide market. And I think that's how you get the most money for anything you're selling. And I think that's what we're all doing. I mean, it doesn't matter, where I'm at, I can't go out and buy the clothes that Rake and Profit's buying or Ronnie Hart's buying. I can't get those things. But they can buy them in Connecticut and bring it to a worldwide market and get the maximum amount of money for it. And that's the same thing I'm trying to do with estate sales. I'm trying to find things in my market, be it pearl snap shirts or cowboy boots or Western saddles or whatever it is. Right now it's 16mm films. I'm trying to get all these things that I can buy in my local market, take them to a worldwide market, and maximize the amount of profit that I can make from them.
Yep, absolutely. And while we're on that worldwide talk, and I guess you're referring to eBay on that. Let's just go with that. It seems like this is kind of a two-sided argument or a topic, but do you go with the global shipping program or not? I mean,
I have not. I've heard it's gotten a lot better. I had some bad experiences. I did it when it first came out. I was in the beta test for it or whatever, and I had a couple products that got repackaged when they got sent overseas and ended up getting broken, and eBay ended up taking care of it because of the global shipping program, but it made that customer upset, and he's probably not going to buy something from me again. And it doesn't matter how many times I tell him that it was eBay's fault, he still thinks it's my fault. And I just think if you take responsibility for your items and getting them to your customer, you're going to be better off in the long run.
Okay, cool. College Picker.
Yes.
You got a question?
I do, but it's not really related to the topic at hand right now. If we can segue into something else, if you guys don't mind.
Okay, fair enough. Young.
Yes.
Do you have a question for Dallas right now?
Sure. Well, first of all, as a 49er fan, if my parents ever named me San Francisco, I'll be in a lot of trouble, man.
Yeah.
So what are some of the favorite stuff to sell, Dallas? I mean, I watched a handful of your videos, and I remember you mentioning you like old photography. Is that still the case?
Yeah, we sell a lot of old photos. I mean, I wouldn't say it's something that I enjoy selling. I just think it's a little market that we've not, kind of niched out for ourselves and a big customer base for it. I like selling unique and different kind of things. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. I just want to find something that it's the only one on eBay or it's the only one on Amazon. And I think that's how you maximize all of your potential, is by finding something where you're the only one that can bring it to the market. And then you can ask whatever price you want and dictate how much it sells.
Absolutely. Now, do you Do you do auctions or do you buy it now?
On stuff that I know, if there's an established value, if you can look on eBay completed listings, or you can, look on Amazon and see what it's currently selling for, if there's an established value of it, I usually just do a fixed price, because then I can sell it faster, and I don't have to wait 7 or 10 or however long I have to run the auction. If I don't know what it's worth, like I'm doing a lot of 16 millimeter films right now that I bought out of an estate, and these values are all over the place. So I'm running a lot of those in auction, just for the simple fact that maybe I get a couple people who really got to have this 1939, Animal Crackles Marx Brothers 16 millimeter film, and maybe they drive up the price higher than it's been. But I can pretty much dictate that it's going to get to at least what it sold for in the past, because it's kind of a rare item.
Nice.
Okay. So we're on the side of photos here, it sounds like a little bit, and I want to get into the green room here because Scott Bureau says, we've got 4 questions, so let's go through a couple of these. Where do you source the majority of your photos?
Majority of them I source right off of eBay. I buy big lots on eBay, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 photo lots, and I bring them back and we list them individually. And I have high-speed scanners, and I've got a couple of VAs that do nothing but list photos for me, so I don't really have a whole lot of cost involved other than purchasing the product. And if I can spend 10 or 15 cents a photograph and buy 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 on eBay, it's the easiest way I can source. But I do find some locally at estate sales and some of these estate buyouts that we do, but most of it comes right off eBay, goes right back on.
How do you incorporate the VA thing into something like, if you have the photos in your hand, how do you get a virtual assistant to perform some of the work for you? I'm just curious.
Well, I've set up, I use a lot of Google technology, so I've set up with Google Apps, and what it basically does is I load all my photos through my high-speed scanner, and it puts them into a Dropbox file. And then it goes through each photo individually, and it'll pull them up. So my VA will go onto the website that I had built, and they'll go in there, and the photo will pop up. And then they'll just populate the 4 or 5 fields that I need to complete my eBay listing, and then it loads it all into an Excel spreadsheet, and I just upload that direct to eBay.
Okay, and it's just basic stuff of what's on the photo, right? Like it's nothing.
Start with like vintage photo snapshot, and then we want them to find the 3 or 4 main things that are in the picture. Maybe it's a little boy, or maybe it's a car, or maybe it's something silly face or whatever, and just find those 3 or 4 things, just kind of like you do with a CAPTCHA, where they put that little number at the end when you're signing up for something with verify your email. It's the same type of thing. The photos pop up. I have 2 different VAs go through, and if the same number or same words pop up, it automatically knows that that's right, and automatically feeds it to my spreadsheet, and then I upload it to eBay. And we can get about 300 to 400 photos done a night with 2 VAs and my brother.
That's amazing. So what you're using is not a flatbed scanner; it's a like a photo document scanner that you can put back in, and it's just spitting them out. That's really smart.
It's a scan snap. It's a scan snap, Fujitsu scan snap. It's about $500 for the scanner. But I mean, we push through some photos. I mean, we're doing some decent business, and we sell some of the biggest collectors in the country. I mean, there's a guy named Peter Cohen who's one of the largest photo collectors in the country, and he's had exhibits at, his house is in New York City, but at the Smithsonian, he has books out that he does, and he's nothing but a snapshot collector, and he probably buys 300 to 400 photos a month from us.
Wow.
So does any one photo actually stand out to you? Like this makes it all worth it. This makes buying the printer worth it. This makes hustling photos.
Every week we sell a few that kind of just go crazy. I mean, we run all of our photos through auction. We start them at $4.88, and then we just let them run. And then if they don't sell the first 7 days in auction, a lot of people, I always find it humorous, and I was the same way when I first started with eBay. I was like, they're giving me 100,000 free listings. I could never use 100,000 free listings. But when our auctions end, we just kind of save them up, and then when eBay gives us 100,000 free listings, we just list all of our photos at fixed price or auction or however they do it. You know, they change it up how they're going to give you the free listings, and so that's what we do. And some of them just go crazy. I mean, we've had photos sell for $300-$400 for a single snapshot, and every week we have one that sells for $50 or $60.
Hey, Dallas, can I ask you, are you shipping all your stuff out nowadays? Because I can imagine with all the photos, you must be selling a lot.
My brother-in-law handles all the scanning and all the shipping.
Wow.
My brother-in-law scans all the photos. He's at his house, and he scans all the photos, and he does all the shipping.
Cool.
Awesome, man.
That's amazing, man. What a process. So that's good. So you touch these things like one time. That's how much you touch it, right?
Personally, I probably don't even touch them that much. I mean, I buy them. I have one VA who does all of my searching, and she goes through every night and she searches. I give her parameters. I want to pay this much per photo. Find me lots, and then she sends me an email in the morning, and I get online and I check my email, and then I just hit the link and look at the pictures, see if it's something I want to buy, and then if it is, I usually just put a snipe bid in on it. If it's an auction or if it's a fixed price, I'll just buy it. And then they get shipped to my shop, and when they get shipped here, we just kind of let them pile up, and my brother-in-law comes out about once a month and picks up a big old box full of pictures and takes them back out to his house.
Now, where did you find your VA? Do you use Odesk or?
No, I use onlinejobs.ph.
Okay, cool. So you kind of have
Philippines.
PH, yeah, Philippines, okay.
Philippines VA.
Do they have the thing that that Odesk has with like the diary where they can kind of like they screenshot the actual time and everything so you can see what they're doing?
Yep. I use that with my new VAs, ones that I haven't used. But I've got 3 that work for me right now who have worked for me for over a year, and I never have a problem with them completing tasks. My one VA, if I don't send her email at least once a day, she sends me an email at 9 o'clock every night asking me questions.
Oh, that's cool.
So, wow.
There's really some amazing people on these websites because I work with a lot of VAs as well, and these people, they're really hardworking and loyal, and you got to ask yourself, right, like, what's your time worth? And I'm sure you ask yourself that all the time. And
I mean, sometimes I feel bad because I know how much work they're doing and how much I'm paying them, but they've dictated their own price. I'm not the one who's dictating how much I pay them. I mean, I get a 40-hour work week from a lady with a college degree for $150 a week. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, I'm all for hiring in the United States, but I would never get someone with a college degree to sit there and do what I want them to do, and I would never get them for $150 a week. I mean, for 40 hours, it would never happen. So if that's what I got to do to make my business successful, that's what I'm going to do.
Hey, Rakin, in a nutshell, because I'm pretty sure there's some beginners we have 114 viewers, 119, something like that, but I'm pretty sure there are a couple beginners that are hearing you guys say VAs, and they have no idea what might be going on. Do you think you can summarize that really quickly, Rakin? What is a VA for people that might not know exactly what it is?
Yeah, so it's a virtual assistant, so it's pretty much hiring someone to work for you through the internet, right? So you never meet them. And you can hire them to do different tasks for you online, like Dallas was talking about. They help out with his eBay business. They help me out a lot with my Kindle publishing business, and a lot of them, they specialize in different things. I mean, I have editors, I have cover creators. There's people who will do administration, like data type of work, but it's just someone who helps you out through the internet. And a lot of these websites will allow you to work with people overseas, so you can actually work for them. They'll do work for you a lot less than what it would cost in the United States, and you can get workers for $3, $4, $5 an hour or more. Which kind of sounds crazy. You might be thinking, well, why would you pay so little? But, Dallas, you could even touch on this. I mean, this is a good pay for some people in different countries. I think, what is it, like 70% of the world lives on like $5 a day or less? Don't quote me on that, but...
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't dictate the price. I mean, I just go on there and I hire general VAs. I've got one graphic designer that I use. He's not a full-time employee of mine, but I have 4 VAs who work for me that are full-time, and they're all in the Philippines, and 2 of them are sisters, and they're awesome, and I hope they work for me forever because they just, they've got. I mean, I sent them Christmas presents for their kids, and I mean, it becomes a relationship, and
Yeah.
it may seem awkward at the beginning when you sit there and you see how much work they're doing for the amount of money they're getting paid, but they're very grateful, and they are amazing workers, and they work very, very hard, and
Yeah.
there's a couple. I had to go through some to find them, but I mean, now that I've got my 4 that I work with, I mean, they're awesome.
Yeah, I will say this, for someone, I actually traveled to the Philippines a couple of times now, and I will say, they're hard workers, they are loyal, and when given the opportunity, they will work. I mean, it's like Steve was saying, they don't get paid much because over there, the cost of living is just a fraction of what we're used to, and I mean, they'll happily work for like you were saying, like $3 to $4 an hour, and for them that's a fortune.
Yeah.
That is a fortune. Like I've seen the way people live over there, and it's they can get by, with that.
Yeah. And I give them a raise. Every 6 months we give them a raise, and then they have in foreign cultures they have what they call the 13th month, and at Christmas time you pay them a month's wages as a Christmas bonus. And
good for you guys.
It's a
awesome.
little bit different, but I mean, it's just awesome, and I've really got some relationships with these people.
Yeah.
I consider them friends, so it's nice to have people you work with that you can trust.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I need to go into the YouTube comments here real quick, guys. Dicker Tex says, Green Rumor Trey Whitlock here. Dallas, I saw the video series of when you first found the molds for the Commodore computer, but what were your first thoughts when you found them? Did you realize then the potential of the molds?
I don't know if I really knew the potential at that point. I thought they were cool. I thought they were different, and I thought they were worth the risk. My initial idea was that I would just sell the molds on eBay to a collector or to someone who would want them, and I actually listed them on eBay for $5,000. And I left them up for about a week, and then I was like, nah, I'm just going to hang on to this and see if I can figure out some way to get these things produced. And it ended up working out. Kickstarter ends in 2 days, and it's up over almost $90,000.
So what are these, I might not have caught this video series with the molds, I'm sorry, but refresh some of the people that, or you can direct them to your channel to watch this video series, but what exactly happened with these Commodore computers?
I went to an auction, a liquidation auction for a local plastics manufacturer who was retiring, and the guy was in the early 1980s. He worked for Commodore Computers, and his brother worked for Dow Chemical. And one Christmas they came home together and they said, we ought to start a business together. All these computer companies are going to need housings, and you know how to do all this plastic injection work. So they started this little plastic injection company in Longview, Texas. And in 1981, Commodore came to him and said, hey, we sent these molds off to a company in California, and this is a story I've been told, and I've talked to some people who work for Commodore, and they have a little bit of a different story, but it's generally the same idea. And they sent these molds to a company in California to produce cases for the Commodore 64C computers. And these Commodore C64 computers, the company they sent them to couldn't get the molds to produce enough cases what they were rated to do. Molds, these huge steel injection molds, are rated to do so many cases per hour, and they couldn't get the company couldn't get these molds to do that. So Commodore called the guy, Mr. Fry, and said, I know you're working in injection molding. Can you go out to California and tell us if these molds if there's a problem with the molds or if there's a problem with the injection molding company. So he came back went to California, came back and said, no, it's the molding company. Send them to us. We'll get it fixed. So they sent the molds to Longview, Texas, and they started producing the original casings for the Commodore 64C. And when they stopped making the Commodore 64C, the molds just went on a shelf. And when this company went out of business, or the guy retired, they sold all the molds. And the guy was in the Tupperware business, and he made Tupperware. And that's what the last 10 years of his business has been, Tupperware. And I went there to look for a pallet wrapping machine. They had a pallet wrapping machine that I was interested in. That's the whole reason I went to the auction. And so I went to the auction, and I saw the pallet wrapping machine. I'm getting ready to go, and the auctioneer grabs me and says, "Hey, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I sell on eBay and stuff." And he's like, "I've got these molds here. No one's really interested in them. Let me show them to you." So he took me to the back and he showed me these molds. And they had molds for the Commodore 64C, the molds for the Commodore 128, the molds for the Commodore Plus 4, and which are all old Commodore computers from the 80s. And so I was like, it's interesting or whatever. He said, well, I got a buddy of mine who's going to, if no one wants them, he's going to turn them into furniture. And I said, well, that's kind of stupid. Why would you turn these things into furniture? So I was driving home at night, and I get home, and I'm talking to my wife, Olivia, and I said, hey, I'm going to place a bid on these things. And so it was an online auction. I placed a bid, and I ended up winning these molds. And I had no idea how much they weighed. I had no idea anything like that. I just thought, well, I'll just go with my pickup and I'll pick these friggin' molds up and I'll bring them back to the shop. Well, these things weigh 5,000 pounds a piece. And
Oh my gosh.
so I had to hire a company to come in and move the molds. They're a professional mold moving company. And they moved into my shop, and they've sat back here in my shop until about a month ago. And I didn't really know what to do with them because they're just so big and heavy. So I bought these Commodore 64 molds, and I started a Kickstarter project to recreate the molds for the original Commodore 64 in cool new colors. So we're doing a red one, we're doing a white one, we're doing a royal blue one, we're doing a transparent case, and we're doing an original case. And I started a Kickstarter project, and my original goal was $10,000 because that's how much it would cost for me to produce enough to make the injection mold company say, okay, we'll do this. So I started $10,000. First day we were at 15,000.
Wow.
And it ends in 3 days. It ends in 2 days, 48 hours or something like that, and we're almost to 90K. And so it's been a huge success. And no, I never thought it would be this successful, but you know, you just put yourself in the right place at the right time, and you know, it was an educated risk. I mean, I've got a lot more money into these molds than I ever thought I would at this point, but you know, it's a huge gamble, but it's going to end up paying off, and we're super excited. We're going to get the 64Cs done, and then we're going to go on and maybe produce the 128. So,
what are people going to be putting inside these molds? Are they going to be building like modern computers, or are they going to try to recreate something in the past?
Well, a lot of people are buying them. A lot of these modders are buying them to make Bluetooth keyboards out of them. There's a guy on Etsy who sells, turns them into Bluetooth keyboards. He bought like 40 cases. There's a big community in Europe who are just going to take these and put the old guts into the new cases. You know, and I'm blown away by the response. I never thought it would get anywhere close to $100,000, but you know, we got 3 more days, and we've had some hiccups along the way with Commodore sending us a cease and desist letter, and we had a couple different other hiccups, but it's all ended up working out. We've gotten our way around it, and we're super excited to get these cases made.
I didn't even realize Commodore was still around. They even sent you a letter.
Well, they're not. There's a company out of Denmark who actually owns the trademark for Tick. That's all they do is they just go around suing people who use Commodore names. So it's just it was a big deal, but it wasn't really because they sent us a cease and desist letter to stop using the word Commodore on our Kickstarter project. We stopped using it, but by the time they sent us the letter, we were already at $80,000, so I didn't really care at that point.
That's cool, man.
Dallas, could you explain to people what, like, exactly, like, you raise this money for Kickstarter, like, what is it, like, what do you do with the money, like, how does it all work for someone who doesn't understand?
Well, Kickstarter, this is an odd project for Kickstarter. Normally what happens with Kickstarter is you come up with an idea. Say you want to, you know, make a new computer, or you want to, you know, make a cool dog leash or a cool bicycle or something, and you come up with this idea, and then people back you, and you give them a reward for backing you. And some rewards are like T-shirts and thank you letters and products and different stuff. You know, you can give out different rewards. Well, for ours, it's just basically a pre-sale. So for $35, and you get a case, and you can pick either a red one, a white one, or a blue one. And if you want an additional case, you can pick, you know, all 3. You can buy 2 of 3, but you can also add on clear cases or transparent cases. And all that money adds up, and if you reach your goal, which our goal was $10,000, after your Kickstarter is over, it takes about 2 weeks. You get that money into your account. So, they take about 10%. Kickstarter takes 5%, and then they have like a 3.5% for the credit card processing fees.
Yep.
And we'll get that in our bank account, and then we'll pay that to get the molds produced and to ship our products to our customers. And we have to ship. Hopefully, we'll have them all shipped out by the end of April.
And the goal is to have some profit left over.
Yeah, we'll have some profit left over. I mean, it's going to be a good amount. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie that I'm not going to make a good amount of money, but a lot of the upfront costs I've already occurred. Getting these molds moved, that's not a cheap process. Buying the molds, that wasn't super cheap. Getting the molds reconditioned, because you have to take them in and they it's not sandblast. They do dry ice blasting and get the residue off so that they can make new cases. And I've learned a ton about injection molding. I've learned a ton about Kickstarter, and it's an awesome process. I'm super excited about it.
Are these still your molds, Dallas? Are they still your molds?
Are they molds? What?
Oh, no, are they still your molds? I mean, did you sell them off, or are they yours?
No, I own all the molds. I own the 3 sets of molds, and
oh man, that's cool.
We're creating it, and the +4, I'm actually gonna. There's not a big demand for the +4 cases. That was a computer that kind of busted. They didn't. That's kind of what broke Commodore. But the +4 cases is actually going to a museum in Frisco, Texas. So that's cool too.
They're gonna turn it into some furniture.
No, they're actually gonna display it. They sent me a whole plan how they want to do it and stuff. So it's super cool.
This is great, man.
Wow, man, you got all kind of people just reaching out to you, huh?
Well,
it's amazing the people that you meet through different venues. The guy who did all of the renderings for the photos or for my project, they were actually so good. Commodore made me take them down, or Kickstarter made me take them down because they were too good. And but he's an amazing artist in Germany, and he's been a huge help.
Okay. We got some questions coming in now. Hey, this is from Callie Picker. It says, Dallas, what's the big thing you found lately? Now, this is foreign to me. What's the big thing you found lately?
Probably the Commodore was pretty big, but lately these 16mm films, it's something that I never really dealt with before, but there's a huge market. Not a huge market, but a very wealthy market who buys these 16mm films, and this estate that I bought out, it had 194 full-length feature films from the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Oh,
So the guy was a projectionist, and I bought out the whole estate, but all I really wanted was these movies, and I think there's $25,000 to $30,000 worth of profit in the movie.
That's amazing, man. Unbelievable. Let's throw it back into the green room now from Scott DeRoe. Some more picture questions. So, do you ever make copies of the vintage photos and just continue to sell them and make a huge profit in the long run? Yes or no?
I don't. I don't think there's a huge market for that because I don't. I mean, the key to the collector is he wants the image. He wants the actual photo. He doesn't want a copy. And the collector's the one who's going to pay the most money. And there's some photos out there, and I know that gay interest photos and all this different stuff that people sell over and over copies of. That stuff it does well, but I don't really deal with a whole lot of that stuff. Most of the stuff I deal with are just snapshots. And we did some on 11 Main. We tried some on 11 Main, and it never really took off. And I just keep doing what I'm doing, what's successful and working.
Okay. Angel Nelson says, Broken Path collections in the house tonight. I'm new to the game. Just wanted to stop by and say thank you for your eBay advice. How do you handle shipping of large items like flipped furniture and heavy stuff?
We have an agreement with Southern Freight. We do some freight stuff. We don't do a ton of it. Most of the furniture and stuff I take to local auction, and we do pretty well with it that way, and it's out of my hair. I usually don't have much in the furniture. Usually when I'm pricing an estate or I'm buying out as an estate, I'm pricing it on the stuff that I can sell on eBay, and then the furniture is kind of like extra, and it's just kind of goes, it's out of my mind. I mean, like right now, I mean, you can probably, I don't know, I'll turn it here, but right over there's a marble top table. I don't know if you can see it, but a marble top table. It's like a $500 or $600 desk or a dresser, and right over on this other side over here, there's a East Lake couch, and behind me over here, there's some marble top tables, and all that stuff will go out by Friday, and it'll be at auction on Saturday.
So for someone that deals with that kind of stuff, have you ever thought about, or does your town even have a decent antique booth kind of thing? Because a lot of people are into antique booths. I mean, have you thought about that?
I've thought about it. I just don't have the time to manage it. I mean, it takes so much hands-on time to go in there and arrange your booth and change stuff around. And there's a town up north of me called Jefferson, Texas, and it's kind of known for antiquing. And we had a booth up there for about 3 months, and it never really made much more than the rent. So I didn't really pursue it any further. I know there's people who are super successful at it and make big money just selling in antique booths, but normally those guys have 5 or 6 different booths, and that's just kind of what they do, is they sell antiques through that. They don't do these other venues like we do.
Yeah, I feel like my booth is getting to the point where I might need to make a decision soon on getting another one, but they've offered me 2 different spaces in my mall, and both of which I'm like, they're just not the booths that I want to click with for more rent money,
There's one in Dallas that I'd really like to get into, and I've put my name on the list to get there. It's like a mid-century modern kind of deal, and that place is awesome. I mean, I'd love to get in, but they've got a waiting list of like who knows how long. I mean, they told me it could be a couple years before I could get in.
Yeah, my boss told me the same exact thing, and then some booths started opening up, but there's these, like, they're the toughest booths because they're tiny and small, and they're on one passing lane, so if you're not careful, you get passed real quick. But if you're in a corner situation, which is what I'm at now, it's like people stop. Like, they have that 4-point corner kind of thing. That's where I think anybody ever gets a chance to get into a 4-corner thing, that's where it's at, I think. I love that part.
Booth theory.
Anyway, we have Andrew Matheson. Hi, finally caught Hangout Live. Huge fan of the Green Room Hangout. We've seen everybody, so keep up the good work. So that's cool. Thank you for your support. Tanya Sheets. This is from the Green Room. Hey, everyone. I enjoy audiobooks as well. Dallas Moore, what's your favorite audiobook that you would recommend?
Probably anything by Earl Nightingale. I really enjoy his books. I listen to them over and over, and I really like him. I love Zig Ziglar. I met him when I was like 15 years old. My dad was in the car business and was actually offered a job by Zig Ziglar, and I met him a couple different times, and he's a super nice gentleman, and I like listening to his stuff too. But I don't really get into a whole lot of podcasts or any of that type of stuff that that is directly related to picking, because I don't really learn a whole lot there anymore. I'm more looking at manufacturing and all these different things, and there's so many great podcasts on all kinds of different topics that it's just not audiobooks anymore. I mean, there's some great podcasts on lean manufacturing that I'm listening to right now that I'm really digging. And there's just a lot of cool stuff, and you can learn so much, and it doesn't have to be about picking. You can tie it into what you're doing, but kind of spread your wings and find something that just kind of motivates you. Right.
And there's definitely tons of that something out there in podcast land, that's for sure. Bama's man. Okay. What sales volume were you at when you decided to get your first warehouse space?
We were doing about $8,000 a month, just mainly on eBay. And I would have probably wished I would have done it sooner now that I think about it, just because it makes you have to succeed. You're either going to sink or swim. And at some point, you can kind of just diddle around. And if you're part-time, it's a completely different story. I mean, if you're part-time, you're doing this as side cash or extra income, stay in your house, in your garage, storage units, whatever you're doing for as long as you possibly can, because it's just overhead. But if you're really thinking that you're going to go full-time and do this as a business, I highly suggest when you think you need to, do it. Because if I would have done it, I wish I would have done it 2 years before I did it. Just because as soon as I did it, I doubled my business. And, we grew out of that space, and now we're into another space. And this place is, I'm 4,200 square feet in here, and I'm starting to get claustrophobic because I've got so much, but it all comes in and goes out. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff in here right now because it's all going to auction on Saturday. But, just find a space that you can grow into. My first space was about 1,400 square feet, and that was probably too small for what I do. But this one is perfect, and we own this property. We bought this property, so it's adding income. I mean, it's adding wealth. Actually making money from having a business. So.
Yeah. What about the insurance and everything? Since items are coming and going, how do you insure? Plus 4,000 square feet, plus all that stuff inside, which is just.
We have a set rider. What they do is they tell us, we're going to set you at this price. We'll insure all your contents for X amount of dollars. If we're getting anything that's going to be above that, then we can sign a rider, and they can insure it for the short period of time. But we haven't really had that a whole lot. And then we have about $1 million in liability insurance just for our employees and stuff we sell if somebody would get sick or something like that. So, but we have a contents policy, and then we have a building policy. And the contents policy kind of fluctuates a little bit with the amount of stuff that we have going in and coming out. But if we ever got anything like super cool or super valuable, we could always sign a rider and extend that.
The Macintosh things, not the Macintosh, the Commodore thing. Sorry. Did you sign something for that? Like in transit, all that stuff had to be insured, right?
Yeah. We have a separate policy that's actually under a different business entity. Those molds are all owned by a separate entity, just for the liability. But
I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
Well, I think at 5,000 pounds each, I think that's kind of a crazy thing if it starts going in one direction. And it's not.
You're not going to stop it. You're not going to stop it. No. When they bring them in, they forklift, and then they strap them down to the flatbed truck, and the weather's got to be nice, and all that stuff to get them moved. So it's and where we're getting them made is about 3 hours south of us in Jacksonville, Texas, and we had to make sure that we had clear weather the whole way and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. That's crazy. I think this is a perfect time for us to really break away from the entire Q&A right now and just to ask people out there, hey, if you guys are having fun on this Green Room Hangout number 53 and you're learning a thing or two not only about picking and reselling but also history, it sounds like. Rakin, what do we got to have them do here?
Yeah, man, take some time, show some support, and hit that like button.
That's right. And College Picker, talk to them about the calories involved with hitting that like button. What do you think, man?
There's a calculation on Google, but I don't have it on my favorites. It has something to do with the amount of ATP in your digit muscle, and it doesn't take that much, but it's a real easy thing to do.
All right, so you got to hit that like button. You're not going to turn into a shriveled up prune. You're not going to lose any weight, but you'll burn a tiny bit of calories for us, and it really helps the show out. It'll help us out and it'll help us grow. Now, I want to say, Dallas, that the reason why you are here primarily is because you were requested a lot by other people out there in YouTube when we made certain requests on previous shows, way long time ago too. We're saying, do you want a guest? What guests do you want interviewed? What topics do you want covered? And your name came up quite a bit, so we finally reached out to you, and it sucks that it took this long, but I'm glad that you're here. But I do want to toss it back out to the feed and ask the people, hey, if you have another guest that you want us to interview, we'll definitely go after that guest, and we'll get great stories out of the guest as well, because right now, the Commodore story, I didn't know too much about it, but Dallas, that's like a thing that you're going to remember for the rest of your life,
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's amazing what they always say, you got to be there, you don't know if you don't go or whatever, and it's the same thing. I mean, I went there to look for a pallet wrapping machine to help grow my business, and never in a million years did I think that I would buy 20,000 pounds of molds, but
Gosh.
it just happens, and taking an educated risk, make sure that on something like that, if you're trying to make your rent payment, it's probably not the right move for you to make. But for someone in my position, it was an educated risk, and I thought it was worth the risk, and it ended up being well worth it.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. So, yeah, so shout out whoever guest you want us to interview, and if you have a topic that you want us to hash out here on the Green Room Hangout, in the future, then definitely let us know in the comment feed. And also, if you're a Green Roomer and you're just proud about being a Green Roomer, you can go ahead and comment that right now. We'll definitely see that coming up here in a second. We have 8 more minutes left on the show, and Dallas, we want to stay true to our hour-long interview promise to you. We don't want to go over any of that time. Dallas, is there any right now? We are not mid-show, but we're at the tail end of the show, and I want to give you a chance to plug all the ways that people can follow you and be there on your journey with you. So how can they find you again? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got. Tell them right now.
Probably the most information you're going to get from me is on my Facebook page, Picking Live on Facebook. That's a group. I've got about 2,100 people who follow me over there, and it's a page. It's not a group, so it's just about me and my journey and what's going on with Dallas. It's not anything, you're not, if you have questions, I try to answer all of your questions, and I'm Scott Devereaux and a lot of these guys who you've been asking questions in here, I've had long conversations about the same topics with them in my Facebook group. So if you ever have any questions or anything that you need some help with, I'm always over there. Just send me a private message on Picking Live. You can also catch me on Twitter, Picking Live on Twitter, or on YouTube. I don't really do a whole lot on YouTube. I try to do a live hangout or one of these guest shows like I'm doing now at least once a month. But Dallas Moore, there's a lot of great videos that I did in the past that kind of show how I got to where I'm at now. We're growing every day, every month, and if you want to follow that journey, Picking Live on Facebook is the easiest way to follow.
Okay. More questions are rolling in, Dallas. From Sumer Robin. Hey, Dallas, do you plan on doing different Kickstarter projects in the future? I guess now that you know about Kickstarter.
I think so. I've learned a lot, and I think it's a great platform. I think that if you can find the right product, it can really take off. The key to it is to find little niches, just like kind of with Rake and Profit and his little crazy books and stuff like that. The same thing kind of happens with Kickstarter. The ones that really do really well are the ones that you can get a group of people behind. I mean, we've been retweeted like 5,000 times. There's been like 5,000 Facebook posts, and we're on all kinds of forums and all kinds of stuff going on to get the word out. And that's really what you got to have to get those Kickstarters off the ground. And I'd like to find another project in which I can do it, because I've learned so much, and I really think it's an awesome platform and can really excel a business. I mean, if you've got an idea that you've been deep inside of you and you don't know how to fund it, I mean, I think Kickstarter is a great way to try to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and like you said, you're only obligated to the people that helped you get there by whatever you choose to give them in return, right?
Yeah, you don't have, I mean, it's just, the rewards are the key. I mean, obviously, like Pebble Watch is one of the big Kickstarters right now, and I mean, it's like $14 million or something like that they've raised on there. And when they first started, this is their second iteration of the Pebble Watch, but the first one was one of the biggest Kickstarters ever. It was like $8 million, and that guy was working out of a garage when he started and just had an idea. And now he's a huge company and, $14 million Kickstarter, but he was working in his garage, did a 30-day Kickstarter for his Pebble Watch, and it ran up to $8 million. So if you got a good idea, there's ways to get your idea made. There's ways to get your stuff done. And that's an amazing thing about technology. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're doing, there's ways to make things happen.
Yeah, it's linking up people that don't even know each other or so far away from each other. It's just linking them together.
I mean, 50% of the people on this Kickstarter I got right now are overseas, Germany, Finland, and I'm going on freaking German blogs, and they're interviewing me, and I'm translating on Google Translate, trying to understand what the hell they're saying, and, all kinds of crap. But I mean, it's awesome. I've learned so much, and it's what life's all about. I mean, if you're picking, you're selling, doing whatever, try to learn something new every day, and you're going to be a lot better off in the long run.
Yep. No, I totally agree with you, man. I love the hunt, man. So I think my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world, in the realm of hustling, is to actually get my hands dirty and go picking through, like American Picker style, through actual junk and finding some cool one-of-a-kind
I
things.
was digging in an attic at an old house 2 days ago, digging crap out of an attic that hadn't been searched since the 50s. I mean, I'm pulling out, all kinds of great stuff out of there. And, a lot of people see me on Facebook and see me on different things, and they think, well, this guy, he doesn't get his hands dirty anymore. He doesn't do any of that type of stuff. Bull crap, I'm doing it every single day, and that's how I got to where I'm at, and that's how I'm going to get to where I'm going. I don't want to be $1 million. I want to be $1 million seller on eBay. I want to be $1 million seller on Amazon. And I'm not going to do that sitting on my butt all day. I got to get out there and work.
Absolutely.
That is real talk right there, guys. You just heard it right there. We hit a nerve on Dallas. We hit a nerve. Got it. So I want to shout out somebody here in the feed real quick. Treasures Found Shop just said, just hit it, which means just hit the like button. So that's cool. Reckon someone heard you, they hit the like button, or College Picker, and they actually typed us back, I just hit that like button. So that's really cool. Thank you so much. Great guest tonight. That's from Pereiro, who is live on Twitter. Well, he's always on Twitter, so Pereiro probably follows you already. Limited play. How many hours a week do you guys actually spend looking for the items that you sell? This is an interesting question. What do you think, Dallas?
I don't spend that much time looking for items to sell as I used to. I think it's kind of like kind of like a math problem. The more money you're making, the less time you spend sourcing. Because I can, when you're starting out, you've got to buy your education. You've got to go out there, you've got to buy stuff, you've got to figure stuff out, what you're doing, what's working, what's not working. Right now I'm going out and I'm buying like complete estates. I'm going out and buying, I'm not hitting thrift stores buying 10 T-shirts. I'm buying, a house full of stuff. And it's all about my process and being here hands-on with my people and getting the stuff done so that it can get listed and get sold. But if you're, just starting out, put in that time. Get in there in that thrift store. Get out there at that auction. I'm a big believer in auctions. That's where I got my start. That's where I make, that's where I made all my knowledge. That's where I got it all. I mean, I'd go in there and I'd find out who were the guys who knew stuff, and I'd follow them around. And the stuff that they were bidding on, I wouldn't be afraid to bid $5 more to own it. And I'd bring it home and I'd get an education and I'd learn about it and why they were buying that, what they were doing with it. And, I learned so much about depression glass and Pyrex and, all kinds of stuff that I wouldn't have ever picked up in my entire life. Barbie dolls, all kinds of stuff that I've learned in the last, 8 to 10 years of doing this just because I went out there and I bought a box lot of crap that I didn't know what it was.
Cool. That's good advice, man. That's really good. Do you find yourself, okay, now that you do a lot of that auction stuff, I mean, how is the competition in West Texas, or East Texas, right? East Texas.
East Texas. It's like anything. It's about relationships. I mean, like just a couple weeks ago, I did a video on my Picking Live where there's an estate, the lady who does estate sales. She knows I buy photographs, and she had these photos that she thought was cool, so she held them back for me. And I didn't even go into the estate sale until like the third day of it or second day of it. And she was holding them the whole time for me and didn't let anyone else buy them and sold them to me for $5, which was a crazy good price. And it was all about that relationship. And I bought these 3 cabinet cards and I brought them home and I sold them for like $150. And it was all about that relationship that I had with this person. And the longer you're in an area, or a lot of people out there, I'm sure in the green room and other people who are listening, have lived in an area a long time. So people who are out there. The old timers who go out and pick the junkyards and go to the flea markets. Get to know those guys, because those are the guys that you're going to make your living from if you're doing this right. You're not going to make your living. I mean, there's people who make a good living going out and buying just at thrift stores. But to get to where I want to go, that's not a viable option because I can't buy the volume that I need to buy. But get to know the people out there who do this, who are doing it every day, and you're going to be successful.
Cool. Good advice. Good advice. Comment just rolled in. Great show, Chris. I showed up late, but I'll have this in the background tomorrow when I'm doing my business preparing for a large estate auction that I'm calling this weekend. Pretty cool. There you go, man. So I guess it's a perfect guest to have right before you get your estate auction thing going on there. Michael Fisher, thank you for the comments. We are at 9:01 in Dallas. We stayed true to our promises.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we know you're there at your office late and at your warehouse, so we don't want to keep you any longer. Any parting words for the people out there in YouTube land or watching this?
Well, I know this is a green room hangout, and you've got a great group of guys here to learn from, and you know, don't be afraid to extend what they're teaching you and go out and try things. You know, you're not going to, you know, as much as Rake and Profit or Bonafide Hustler or College Picker or Retro Aficionado are going to tell you, you're not going to really learn it until you actually go out and do it. And I see so many people, especially on my Facebook page, who are in hard times. You know, they're single moms or they're you know, having a hard time. But there's people out here like this 5 of us in this panel who are there to help people. And if you take action, that's the key. Take action. Get out there and do it. And, you know, you've got great guides in the 4 guys that are here to my left, I guess it is, on this thing. But, you know, follow their direction, but get out there and do it for yourself. Get your hands dirty. Get out there. Get your hands in the dirt and make your own fortune.
Yeah, I agree, man. So, Dallas, we will bid you farewell, man. Thank you so much for a great show, and then we'll wrap the show up without you. It's not a big deal. But we just wanted to, you know, keep true to our time to you, man. Thank you so much for coming on our show, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Having a great night.
All right.
Thanks, Dallas.
Take care.
All right, there you go, guys. So that was Dallas Moore, straight from a big warehouse that he has with a ton of stuff inside. Hey, Rake, how did that interview go, man? We're still live, so what do you think, man?
Oh, man, that was awesome. I've known Dallas for, man, like a few years now, and he's an awesome guy. I remember one time when I had first gotten started with Amazon FBA, he literally called me through the Google video, and it was him and my mother just talking, trying to figure stuff out, and just a real stand-up guy, man. And, you know, he's a busy guy, but he's always there to help, so it was awesome.
That was good. I've never seen College Picker more focused on a topic than the Commodore thing, by the way. I mean, you were just sitting there.
Dude, this is the first I've ever heard of it because I've been very far from YouTube land and I didn't hear anything of this story at all. So
yeah, that's the first time I've heard of that.
That's really cool. I can see a lot of really good things coming from it, from a historical standpoint, but also from just a business standpoint for him.
Yeah, that's just amazing that someone's going to take these molds, you know, make the old-looking thing, but it's going to have current Bluetooth technology potentially in it. I mean, they're doing so much cool stuff with it. It's almost like a reverse steampunking, really, you know? It's just like...
I pulled up the Kickstarter. I was looking at it. The pictures look amazing, and I might order one.
There you go. You should order one, man. That's totally up your alley. I mean, I'm pretty sure one day somebody's going to get the molds to the N64, maybe the old Nintendo. This will happen one day somewhere, or, you know, and they'll remake the molds again with current-day technology of whatever the future thing is, you know? Anyway, Young, what'd you think, man?
That was awesome. I mean, you know, I'm a tech geek. Like CP, I didn't realize he had found those, so I was really interested, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that blows my mind, man. It's true testament, guys, to the fact that, you know, you gotta take action, like he said, and the hunt is the thrill, man. That's where it all comes down to. I mean, whether you're filling up a carriage full of stuff at Savers like Rakin, or you're sifting through, you know, video game stuff on an estate sale like College Picker does every now and then, or if you're like Young, who's, you know, retail arbitraging, but he's on the hunt to find the latest and greatest stuff and try to make some great profit, or if you're like me, sometimes you hunt for bikes, sometimes you hunt for remote control cars, sometimes you find yourself digging dirty in some crap like me and College Picker did, but we never covered it on a YouTube video. College Picker, remember that pic, man?
Which one?
The one I took you on. We got all dirty and it was hot on that summer day, and I took you to that place way far out in Austin, and we went picking through that guy's junk pile.
Yeah, there probably was a Commodore 64 in the bottom of the electronics.
And we never got to it because we didn't want tetanus. So
I didn't bring my gloves either because I didn't know it was going to be that gnarly.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. But I remember you asking, you're like, man, like, did you plan for that thing? I was just like, no, like, I just know that it's here, so it's just fun to go to it. But anyway, so maybe I'll take all you guys down here on the Green Room. Epic Hangout weekend, July 11th, guys. If you are anywhere close to Austin, Texas, or you want to take a cool vacation to Austin, I think July 11th might just be the time that you should come down here. We are going to have an epic Green Room Hangout, and we're planning some pretty big things. But there's definitely going to be a Green Room appreciation dinner. So if you're a member of the Green Room, we are taking you guys out to the Salt Lake Barbecue. You plus one lucky person. Everyone gets to go, and we're going to be booking up the Salt Lake for a big barbecue dinner that night, July 11th, 2015. It's going to be good. College Pickers had it. Reagan has had it. Young has had it. It is really good barbecue. But it's just like one of the only real true ways we can get together outside of digital computer land right here and get face to face with the people that really helped us get where we are as an admin staff. We love helping you guys out, but we also want to reward people that are making a trip, a journey down to come see us in Austin, Texas. And it's open to pretty much anybody that's a member. You got that appreciation dinner July 11th. So stay tuned for that if you're in the green room. And Reagan, how do people join the green room? And did you put a link? I know you put a link earlier in the video. If you guys are interested in joining the green room, Reagan will talk to you next about how you can get to be a member.
Yeah, so I'll leave a link below because the actual URL is a little funky, but just check the comment section below. You can look up the green room. You might have some trouble finding it that way, but just check the comment section, and you can get in there. We got a lot of cool stuff in there. We got a community. We've got guides. Just a lot of exclusive content. So we definitely enjoy you guys tuning in. But if you want to join the green room, we definitely would love to have you there.
Yeah, we have two brand new guides that one landed today, which is my Bikes to Bucks guide. That's right. The brand new Bikes to Bucks guide is free in the green room right now. I uploaded it today. And also, Rickon, you're thinking about putting one of your previous guides in there, yes or no, for free soon?
Yeah, I'm going to keep that as a surprise, but there's going to be something that's going to be going in there as well for free that I've created. So just stay tuned for that. We'll let you know.
Okay, and there you have it. I'll let College Picker close out the green room hangout number 53. Go for it, CP.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. We've only hit the tip of the iceberg with the knowledge of that, which is Dallas Moore. We hardly even touched on Amazon, but we heard a lot of really, really great stories, and I am already inspired by the Commodore story. I hope everyone else was. And if you don't know what a Commodore is, go on Kickstarter or go on Google and type it in. You'll find some good information on it. But we'll see everyone on July 11th if we don't see you next week or the weeks following after that in between. But we've had a great time, and we will catch you guys next Tuesday.
That's right, next Tuesday. Another Green Room Hangout number 54 will be there, and we'll see you guys there. See you later. Bye.
54. Bye.